function or not. When I'm trying to decide if something is a function or not, I need to understand, first of all, everything is a relation, and that's just a mapping or a pairing of input values to your output values. And if you remember from the last set of notes we did, the input is X and output is Y. So we're talking about you have an XY pairing. In other words, something like 2, 4. That would be a relation. 2, 4. They're mapped or paired together. However, if I want to say something is a function, that is a special type of relation where every input has exactly one output. So every X has exactly one Y. I have this scenario here where we talk about dating in science. If you remember that girls only have XX chromosomes, and when they have a baby, all they can give the baby is an X chromosome. However, the male, the dad, has X and Y chromosomes, and if dad gives you an X, you are a girl, and if dad gives you a Y, you're a boy. So how does that relate here? We're going to call our girls our X values and our boys our Y's. So when I look at a table, here's my girls and here's my boys. How does that relate to dating? In society, they call girls very bad names when they date more than one guy at a time. And it is considered a very negative situation. But people like to tease or joke about a guy who dates more than one girl. They even make funny movies like John Tucker Must Die about guys dating more than one girl. So in our society, we accept the guys to be dating more than one, but not the girls. So for a function, every girl can only have one boyfriend. Every X can only have one Y value. So from a graph, we're going to do it in just a second, how to tell. You would do a vertical line test. From a table, or an ordered pair like this, you have to decide, does the X value repeat? And then from a mapping, is the X value connected to more than one Y value? From an equation, don't forget from Algebra 1 that you learned f of x is the same thing as y. That f stands for function, so they're telling you it is a function already. So now we're just going to practice this. Again, a function has one x for every y value. So when I look at this table, I see that I have -2, -1, 0, 1, and 2. The x, like it says from a table, does not repeat. So I can say yes, it is a function. Every x, every input has one output. When I look at the second example, I see 1, 2, 1. Notice that this x is mapped to 2. It's also mapped to 5. This girl is dating 2 different guys. So we say no, input 1 has multiple outputs. And when you say no, you have to give a reason. When you say yes, you can just move on. Again, this girl, this input has 2 outputs, and that is not okay. This girl has 2 boyfriends. When I look at the third one, my x's go across, and I see that this girl has 2 different boyfriends. So again, it's no, input -2 has multiple outputs. Okay, so from a table, that's how I tell. Does the x value repeat? Here it's repeated, here it's repeated. It is not a function. If it doesn't repeat, it is a function. From the mapping, and this is a mapping, notice it says, is the x value connected to more than one y? So here are my x's, and here are my y's. Notice this x goes to one y, x goes to one y, x goes to one y, and x goes to one y. So I get to say, yes, this is a function. Every input has one output. Now I know that this guy has 2 arrows, but this is the guy. I don't care if he dates more than one girl. For this purpose only. On this example, notice 1 has one boyfriend. I'm sorry, 0 has one boyfriend, 1 has one boyfriend. -2 is dating 2 different guys. This input has 2 outputs, so I say no. Input -2 has multiple outputs. So that is not a function. On the last one, notice we've only got one arrow coming out of each, so I can say yes. None of the x values have two arrows like this one did. So that is a function. So the last scenario we want to tell if it's a function or not is from a graph. And here's a bunch of graphs. I'm going to start on this middle one. And remember, it said on the first page, vertical line test. So vertical line is up and down. So I'm going to draw a vertical line. And what this tells me is this girl, this x value, has two y values. So no vertical line test. Vertical line test shows me, again, I've got two y's, and that's not okay. This girl is dating two guys, and she can only date one to be a function. When I look at this graph, notice this specific girl is only dating this guy. Right here, this girl is only dating that guy, so I can say yes. Vertical line test shows me that it's a function. When I look at this graph down here, notice I only hit it one time, so I can say yes. This graph here, I only hit once. And you need to check multiple points just to be sure. But as I glance down, yes, it's going to be a function. And for my last one, well, sorry, next to the last one, we got to go back up. Notice everywhere that I come down, vertical line test, so yes, it is also a function. When I look here, even though it's random points, I still have to do the vertical line test. And notice, I only hit 1 point, but I don't just say yes. Because when I come over here, how many times do I hit? 1, 2. So I would say no inputs have multiple outputs. I have attached a lesson right below this that you can practice to check that you know is something a function or not.